for further notifications and like, share and subscribe to the channel. India ended day 3 trailing by 125 runs against New Zealand. It was a great fight back by Team India, and at one point of time it was looking like they were going to put New Zealand under some pressure, but the heartbreak came at the last ball of the day when Virat Kohli was dismissed by Glenn Phillips of a thin outside edge caught by Tom Blunden. It was a disappointing end to the day, which was marred by some great batsmanship by the Indian players. But India was so far back in the game, it is hardly a point of contention that New Zealand are not still the favourites to win the match. The first session itself was a big letdown for Team India, where they conceded nearly 150 odd runs with Rachin Ravindra and Team Saudi tearing apart the Indian bowling. That was after India came back into the game with some very good bowling by Ravindra Jadeja, who picked up 4 wickets in quick succession. But the Indian bowling couldn't keep on the pressure, and Team Saudi, the number 8 batsman for New Zealand, capitalized. He dominated, he had a plan, and he absolutely battered the Indian bowling to all parts. And he was aided by Rachin Ravindra, who made Bangalore his second home. He absolutely played flawless cricket. It was a perfect 100 by Rachin. But a little thing to ponder, if many of you missed it, when Rachin was batting on 109 at the very end, India missed a trick. Kuldeep came into bowl, he bowled a half tracker, Rachin missed it and was caught plumb in front, and to everyone's surprise, Rohit Sharma didn't go for a review. Now it may appear not so important in the context of the game, but it was batting on 109 and he scored 134, so 25 more runs. It's a game of fine margins. At the end of the day, India would have been 100 runs behind had that chance been taken. That was plumb in front. Even Kuldeep Yadav didn't appeal much. It was a plumb LBW, caught before, plumb in front, caught red-handed rather. They still had a review in hand, and Ijaz Patel was dismissed in the same over. But still, India were trailing by 356 runs when their second innings started. And the pitch, unlike the first innings, was very good for batting. There were no demons in the wicket, and both Rohit Sharma and Yashasvi Jaiswal batted like they were on a mission. Rohit especially, he was trying to dominate the bowling, but he was careful with his strokes. Often it has been seen that Rohit, in his over-aggressive nature, gives his wicket away. But he understood the momentum, he understood the situation and played accordingly. Jaiswal was also trying to adapt himself to the style of play along with the captain, but it was very unfortunate the way he got out. After having set himself for a big score on that pitch at the Chinnaswamy, where nothing was happening for the bowlers, he decides to come out of his wicket, step out and hit Ijaz Patel for a 6. That was very unlikely of Yashasvi Jaiswal. That's not desired from a great batsman in the making like him. He has the temperament to become a great test player. And Yashasvi is still now in his young career. He has picked his moments very wisely. Even against England, he has seized the initiative. And being a great player of spin bowling, that was a big loss for India. And as fate would have it, Rohit, after scoring his 50, he defended a ball and the ball kind of rolled back onto his stumps. Now, when you see dismissals like that, you wonder whether India would have any chance of getting back into the game. It seems that everything is going wrong for them. Even at the end of the day, when Virat was dismissed, nothing is going right for us. Nothing. He had the faintest of edges, and Virat survived a chance. Ijaz Patel dropped him at slips of the same bowler. And even before that ball, before he was dismissed, he was involved in a near run out. Rachin Ravindra was fielding at deep point, and Virat didn't recognize that he was a left-hander, and he had to put in the dive, which actually saved him. And There was the lapse in concentration. Had he taken a single and left Sarfaraz to face the last ball, maybe this wouldn't have happened because Sarfaraz was playing the spinners really well. Once again, this shows the value of domestic cricket. Sarfaraz has been scoring runs in plenty in domestic cricket. Both he and his brother Mushir have been scoring plenty of runs in the domestic season. And whenever he was batting against the spinners, he seemed at home. It would be a no-brainer from now on to play Sarfaraz Khan in every match that is being played in India. Even plays brother Mushir as well. No use of playing KL Rahul in this kind of tracks where he is absolutely not sure whether the ball is turning, what we will do next, whether it will be aggressive or whether it will be defensive. Sarfaraz was decisive in his stroke play. One thing is for sure that when Sarfaraz Khan bats, he scores runs. He doesn't get bogged down. Even in that partnership with Virat Kohli, if you look very carefully, look at the choice of shots. He slog swept Ijaz Patel for a six. He again swept him for boundaries, and that kind of eased the pressure of Virat Kohli. This young Indian player is among the very few players in this national team who actually plays the sweep shot. Yashasvi Jaiswal plays it. Sarfaraz Khan plays it. And look what impact it has on the bowlers. They miss their lengths. Ijaz Patel, Glenn Phillips, these are all part-time bowlers. These are not great spin bowlers. We have better spinners playing domestic cricket in our own backyard than these guys. They do not get selected when New Zealand play in New Zealand. They only get selected when they play in the subcontinent. And still, on turning pitches as also, they are not hugely impressive. But we play them as if they are some great bowlers. Give them too much respect. And that's what was different from the way Sarfaraz batted with him. He kind of toyed with them. Again, when Glenn Phillips was bowling, every time that he bowled to Sarfaraz, 99% of the time, Sarfaraz would dab to a single at deep point and he would rotate the strike. The same ball, when he was bowling to Virat Kohli, there was every chance that Kohli might do something silly and get out. It almost happened when he nicked one and Ijaz Patel was caught napping. Kohli should have been more careful because India needed his wicket. India were slowly coming back into the game. There is nothing in that pitch. India scored at nearly 5 runs per over for nearly 50 overs. They would be really happy had it been 239 for 31 for 2 at the end of play. Instead, now we are at 231 for 3. It was a great fight back. The pitch at Chinnaswamy had no demons whatsoever. It was some very wayward batting by the Indian team in the first 2 hours of the second day that has cost us the game. And also some very ordinary bowling today. Ravichandran Ashwin, like I said previously, was very poor. From a senior pro who is usually very consistent with his line and length, he bowled very badly on that surface. And India also misses trick by playing 3 spinners. Till now, this is the 3rd day, the pitch hasn't spun that much. Akashdeep would have been the perfect choice as the 3rd seamer on that track. And Kuldeep Yadav also, despite his opportunity with the ball, whenever he gets hit, he tends to bowl flat. So in this wicket, in this kind of wicket, you should go for 3 spacers and 2 spinners. That is enough. Look at how well Ravindra Jadeja bowled in the morning session. He didn't give away any runs. He was bowling wicket to wicket. It was difficult to score off him. But whenever Ashwin came into bowl, there wasn't any consistency. And Rachin Ravindra is a very good player of spin. He played in the World Cup, and at that very moment, he was dominating every bowler. And the pitch was also very conducive for stroke play. And it was kind of sad to see him dominating the Indian spinners, hitting him effortlessly for 6. Even Tim Southee, who has had 96s in his international career, he was picking Ashwin with ease down the ground for massive 6s. 86-meter 6s. Our premier spinner Ravichandran Ashwin, he went for 5 runs per over for 18 overs. So who is going to pick up the wickets? Despite Jasprit Bumrah and Ravindra Jadeja keeping the pressure on, one side was continuously leaking runs. And both Rachin and Tim didn't allow the Indian bowlers to get into the match. Still, India somehow clawed their way back into the match. All the Indian players got a start, but they were not able to convert. Yashasvi Jaiswal made 35. Rohit Sharma got out after scoring a 50. Virat scored 70. Sarfaraz is batting on 70. So everyone got starts. Now the question is who is going to convert this start into big hundreds, because a hundred is needed. If you are not going to score hundreds here on this kind of tracks, you will never get to score a hundred abroad, because these pitches are very easy for batting and for the players to follow. Rishabh Pant, he's injured. He has hurt his knee. Do not know when he will come into bat, whether he comes in his regular position, whether he bats further down the order. KL Rahul is not in the best of nicks, but we need Rahul more than he needs the team right now. He needs to score and he needs to score big. He has the technique, he has the temperament, it's just about his mind. Of late, he has been too indecisive in his play. He is a good stroke player, but somehow he always gets entangled in different situations and gets out when the team needs him most. We are 125 runs behind. If India are to make a match of it, they need to score at least 300 more runs on that wicket. At least 300, and it's not beyond them. The pitch hasn't broken up yet, and since the Indian team has scored these runs quickly, before the second new ball will come, they still have 30 odd overs. So you can easily write off the deficit. Not 30, nearly 35 overs, I think. They're 48 overs, yeah, 80 overs to go to the 32 overs right now. So you can get off that deficit quite quickly and still score the runs. You can't lose more than 1 or 2 wickets before the second new ball. And at least for India to make a match out of it, they need at least 150 runs lead, minimum, for the Indian bowlers to make some match out of it. In the fourth innings on a turning track in India, you never know. If you can get some early wickets, you're always in with a chance. But the Indian batters have to step up. The Indian middle order, we need Rishabh Pant, we need KL Rahul more than ever, especially a player like Pant who can actually turn the game on its head, and he is very good player of spin. In this kind of pitches we need him, but it's unfortunate that he got injured on that same knee where he had surgery. So will he be able to bat? That's a big question, because if he isn't, India are not going to get a replacement for him. So essentially, that would mean that he would bat further down the order and India further compromised. And it's not like that New Zealand have a great bowling attack. Today, look what happened. Matt Henry, Will O'Rourke, Tim Southee all look flat. Why? Because the pitch didn't have any assistance. It had flattened out completely. They went for 5 runs per over. India have to weather the first half an hour, bat properly, keep their head in the game, and then it's runs to be had. Sarfaraz should score 100. Again, players from domestic cricket should be given a chance. Sarfaraz batted beautifully. It's beyond any reasonable. It's beyond any reason rather why he's keep getting dropped. Even if Shubman Gill's come back in the next match, who will India drop? The most likely they will drop Sarfaraz, but they should not drop Sarfaraz. They should drop KL Rahul instead. Rahul hasn't scored runs, and Sarfaraz at the moment is scoring runs. Even when he goes back to domestic cricket, he scores hundreds, he scores double hundreds. He plays in pitches like this. India should really consider giving domestic players chance in India, because they are better players of spin than the current Indian top and middle order. Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, they both struggle against spin. Rohit Sharma especially, whenever the spinners come into bowl, especially left-arm spinners, he always gets out. In that series against Bangladesh, again, whenever the left-arm spinners are coming into bowl, he gets out. Virat Kohli is kind of limited with his stroke play. He doesn't play the sweep. It's a big problem for him, and teams have now found out, and they keep bowling him on a length. They suffocate him. You need a player like Sarfaraz who can release the pressure. Now, if you have had Kohli and Rahul batting together, what would happen? The strike wouldn't have rotated. Rahul would have blocked, and Kohli would have blocked as well. Either one of them would have got out, or both of them would have got out, and the scoreboard wouldn't have rotated. India wouldn't have scored so many runs at so quick a pace had Kohli or Rahul been batting together. So Sarfaraz was a blessing in disguise. Tomorrow morning, India needs to carry on this momentum if they are to have any chance in the game, even if an outside chance are there for Team India. They have to carry on this momentum. Otherwise, it's a clean win for Team New Zealand. New Zealand are still the favourites. India need to win, at least draw the test. There is no chance of drawing in this test, but they need to try, because there are 5 tests down under in Australia. If they are to play the World Test Championship finals, they need good results at home. India play New Zealand for 3 tests at home, and then they play Australia for 5 tests in Australia. That's a very difficult tour for the subcontinental teams. And you would be a fool to think that India would go down there every single time and they would come up victors. No. It is a very difficult tour for the Indian players. And it's a 5 test match series. For the first time in many years, it's going to be a 5 test series. So when you are up against it, you should at least try and win your own matches at your home backyard. And New Zealand were coming off a very poor performance against Sri Lanka. On those turning tracks, their players were struggling. If Prabhat Jayasuriya and company can give them all sorts of problems, Jadeja and Ashwin can do that even better. So why not play to your strengths? Why not play on turning pitches? I'm sure the next 2 test matches will have nothing for the fast bowlers. It's always the same thing. India struggles in the first match of the series. Whether it be against England or New Zealand or Australia in the last decade, they have kind of lost the first match. And they always come back in the second and the third test matches. Why? Because the pitch for the first test is usually conducive for the opposition. Or the Indian players, they are not interested in the first test. They kind of get into the series as the series progresses. The main reason for that is most of the players, they do not play domestic cricket. So it takes them a couple of innings to get their flow back. Now Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma are the prime examples of that. Now Cheteshwar Pujara is not playing at number 3. India needs someone who can hold the fort. Shubman Gill, who was batting beautifully in the last series against Bangladesh, also got injured. And so Virat Kohli had to bat in at 3. So what will happen? Can India bounce back? Will day 4 be a turning point in the game? Because if India somehow manage to get 300 runs tomorrow, 300 runs, if they somehow manage to get those 300 runs, all of a sudden they might be the favorites in the game, because 150 or 160 runs on a 5th day track in India, you never know. At 300 runs, 7 wickets. The targets would be 300 runs. First, get rid of the deficit. Don't lose more than 1 wicket. The best would be 1, if still at least 2. But please go and get those 300 runs. That would be the total. Gambhir and his team should continuously harp on that fact. And who are the batters that we have? We have KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja and Ravichandran Ashwin. So it's down to these 4, and of them 2 are all-rounders. But Ashwin and Jadeja have been in form, but the only concern is Ashwin has had a very bad game and Jadeja has done well with the ball but has not done well with the bat. But both of them were in good form in the last series against Bangladesh. They were in good batting form as well. So that would be a positive. India should try and look at the positives from here on in. And Sarfaraz needs to take the responsibility and score a big 100. The daddy hundreds, as Sunil Gavaskar calls them. If somehow Sarfaraz goes on to score big, then India might just have an outside chance. India are so far back in the game, they are so far behind that even to think that they are going to make a comeback makes you feel that you're talking rubbish. 356 runs behind. After conceding a lead of 356 runs, I do not remember any team, doesn't come to my mind, any team winning a match after conceding a lead of 356 runs. So you need to score at least, it's easy, at least you have to score 500 runs in the second innings. So how many runs more? Nearly 300 runs more, and you have 7 wickets in hand. That's the target. And you should play accordingly. There are no demons in the wicket. The ball isn't turning or keeping low. They do not have that many spinners who can rattle your batsmen. You have plenty of skills. This is your own backyard. Now it's time for you to deliver. At least show some fight like the way India fought today. If they can put on a similar fight tomorrow as well, the pitch is still very good for batting. Then we might have an outside chance. You never know. This is Test cricket. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. Can India bounce back? Or will New Zealand steamroll them? And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.